Carolinas. Part 1 Timeline 1500s 1524 Explorer Giovanni da Verrazzano explored coastal areas for France. 1540 Hernando de Soto of Spain explored southwestern part of state searching for gold. 1584–1585 Sir Walter Raleigh sent colonists to establish English settlement on Roanoke Island. 1586 Hardships forced colonists to leave Roanoke Island, return to England. Sir Francis Drake dropped off captured African Caribbean slaves on Roanoke. 1587 Second colony established at Roanoke by John White. Virginia Dare became first English child born on American soil. White returned to England for supplies. 1590 White returned to Roanoke, all settlers gone. Coratone carved into tree. Timeline 1600s 1700s 1663 King Charles II assigned Carolinas territory to 8 court favorites. They became true and absolute lords proprietors. 1669 Colonial Carolina Fundamental Constitution legalized slavery. 1705 First town in North Carolina, Bath, was built. 1712 North Carolina made separate colony. War with Tuscarora Indians began. 1714 Tuscarora Indians defeated, moved north to join Iroquois. 1718 Pirate Blackbeard killed off coast. 1729 North Carolina became Royal English colony. 1768 backcountry farmers organized regulator movement in attempt to reduce excessive taxes. 1771 regulators suppressed at Alamance. Governor Tyrone had 7 regulators executed. Timeline 1774 Edenton Tea Party took place. Edenton women protested British rule by putting down their teacups. 1775 Hurricane struck Outer Banks. 165 killed. Crops destroyed, mill dams broken. Unsuccessful attempt to instigate a slave revolt. Merrick's slave insurrection frightened North Carolina slaveholders. 1776 North Carolina first state to vote for independence. North Carolina's first American Revolution battle fought at Moores Creek Bridge. 1789 North Carolina admitted to Union as 12th state. University of North Carolina received charter, first public school in U.S. 1794 Capital moved from New Bern to Raleigh. 1799 First gold nugget in U.S. found at Reed Gold Mine, Cabarrus County. Timeline 1800s Early 1800s very little progress made in state, appeared to be asleep, became known as Rip Van Winkle State. 1804 Walton War, dispute between North Carolina and Georgia over 12-mile strip of land in North Carolina. 1805 Georgia ceded 12-mile strip of land. 1828 North Carolina native, Andrew Jackson, became 7th President of U.S. 1830s U.S. government forced Cherokee Indians from home's Trail of Tears. Many hid in mountains. 1831 Workmen fireproofing roof of state capitol set building on fire. Nat Turner slave insurrection in Virginia caused execution of dozen North Carolina slaves. 1845 North Carolina native, James Polk, became 11th President of U.S. 1851 Anti-slavery preachers, Adam Crooks, Jesse McBride, run out of state. 1853 First North Carolina State Fair held. Timeline 1800s continued. 1865 Bloodiest battle in North Carolina occurred at Bentonville, Confederates defeated. Large number of Confederates surrendered at Bennett Place. 1866 Tuscarora Indian, Henry Berry Laurie, led revolt in Robeson County. 1868 North Carolina readmitted to Union. 1877 Federal reoccupation troops left state. 1878 Cherokee Reservation formed in western NC. Part 2. 1. King Charles II gave the region south of Virginia, which was the Carolinas, which was after his name in Latin. They also ruled from Virginia all the way to Florida, similar to junior kings. It was pretty hard to manage in the Carolinas, and they were not expecting that. Within 50 years, Carolina faced violent rebellion, attacks by the Spanish. They also had war with the Indians, hurricanes, droughts, and also pirates. Apart from all these problems that they had to face, they still managed to grow. 2. Many people believe that in 1775 North Carolina became the first colony to declare independence from Great Britain. After the American Revolution, North Carolina became the 12th state of the Union. In 1861, North Carolina seceded from the Union and joined the Confederacy in the Civil War. In 1865, North Carolina troops surrendered, leaving the state to be brought back into the Union in 1868. Part 3. Carey's Rebellion. Issue Carey's Rebellion was an uprising against the governor of North Carolina in 1711, led by Thomas Carey, who refused to give up his governorship to Edward Hyde, Earl of Clarendon. People: Thomas Carey, Edward Hyde, the Quakers' Church and the Anglican Church. The Tuscarora War. Issues. It all started off as first there had been an Indian problem in Bath County. While disease had broken the power of the Pampticoff tribe in the neighborhood of Bath, there remained many other small tribes scattered throughout Bath County. Then in 1703 the Indians became a public enemy by the Carolina government. People involved: the Tuscarora tribe, Edward Hyde, John Lawson and Thomas Pollock. Part 4. Historical Research. 1. Edward Hyde, Earl of Clarendon. Small bullet. Why didn't King Charles II kill Edward? Edward and Charles II had a close relationship until, due to his previous problems from King Charles I, it started to come out, and then not that much people started to trust Clarendon, also especially due to the Restoration settlement, which made a shortage of money for the crowns. Clarendon was also blamed for everything that went wrong between Charles II and Princess Catherine of Brabant, and also the lack of their children. Then the sale of Dunkirk to the French. The Dutch attack up the River Medway was his fault. Even though he had campaigned against a war with the Dutch. Clarendon was blamed for London lack of preparation for the impact of the plague in 1665 and the Great Fire of London in 1666. Now the question is, where was Clarendon? Well, in 1663 Clarendon was given a title to a huge tract of land in North America, and in which it became the province of the Carolinas. 2. George Monk, Duke of Albemarle. Small bullet. If Monk had so many honors instead of staying in England, why did he came to America? Monk, with all his honors for his part in the Restoration, Monk was appointed as Captain General of the Army and created Earl of Torrington and Duke of Albemarle. Then, due to Charles II, he was the one who appointed him as one of the 8 Lords Proprietors of the province of Carolina. 3. William Craven, 1st Earl of Craven. Small bullet. What would have happened if Craven never supported King Charles I? We wouldn't have a Craven County in North Carolina. Craven was given/granted a share in the colony of Carolina, but it was after the Restoration, and he was also rewarded with several court offices and given an earldom. 4. John Lord Berkeley. Small bullet. Did Lord Berkeley also give free religion in Carolina? It's hard to say. He did granted free religion in New Jersey, but in North Carolina it would have been 7 against 1, so who knows? Or do we? Well, he talked to the rest of the lords, and they all did gave free religion in Carolina. 5. Anthony Lord Ashley Cooper. Small bullet. Why did Lord Ashley help Monk to restore power to King Charles II to the throne? Ever since Anthony, Earl of Shaftesbury, had changed alliances in around 1643, then distancing himself from his former Republican allies, he took the opportunity to jump in and help Monk, which Charles II then appointed him as one of the 8 Lord Proprietors of the province of Carolina. 6. Sir George Carteret. Small bullet. Why did Sir Carteret turn his attention to the colonization of America? At first he was more interested in New Jersey than with John Berkeley. He became as one of the Lord Proprietors of the province of Carolina. In the point that Sir George Carteret was just a support for and or with John Berkeley. 7. Sir William Berkeley. Small bullet. Why didn't King Charles appreciate Sir William Berkeley? Well, Sir William Berkeley was appointed by Charles I, and then due to Bacon's rebel with under Charles II, all of what was William popularity just vanish. 8. Sir John Caledon. Small bullet. Instead of doing the south of Carolina, why did Caledon do the north? It was because Sir John Caledon with the other lords need to separate what you would call back in the day, the rich and the poor.